My name is Chad Hamilton, co-owner of Chick Boss Cake. Many of you know my wife, Rebecca Hamilton. She's on social media quite a bit. I'm here today to share with you and teach you how to control your emotions, which will in turn control your life. So I manage all three of our bakery store locations. We have almost 20 staff, and I certainly wouldn't be able to manage that all on my own if I didn't follow the advice of what I'm going to teach you today. All right, so for me, getting a grasp of my emotions was life-changing. And to be honest with you, if I take myself back and I think about, in my teenage years and early 20s, I was not in control of my emotions whatsoever. Growing up in a household where, everyone kind of put their heart on their sleeves and emotions ran really high, and a really reactive environment. It was not, done out in a thoughtful way. There was no proactive nature to why, members of my family were acting the way they are. And into adulthood, I found it fascinating trying to figure out, hey, I don't think that's really normal. So I don't know if anybody can relate to this, right? Thinking back, why do we react to different situations in life when other people don't react the same way, and vice versa, right? So I found this really fascinating. So doing a lot of research and, looking into things, and I came up with the theory, basically that I'm in control of this. And it blew my mind, And one of the things I learned was that as human beings, way back, when the earth was invented, there was this, caveman mentality that human beings needed to have to, fend off tigers to find food. That doesn't really serve us in the year 2022. I remember learning about this and going, wow, why is it that these things that you think matter in life don't actually serve you today? It was so cool to think well, how can I challenge that? And that's what belief systems are. So you hear about beliefs and values, and some of that can seem really confusing, but that's old beliefs, right? The belief that you have to react emotionally and figure out a very fearful and terrifying situation to find a solution. You don't have to do that in that fashion, right? You're in full control of how you react to different situations. And the really cool thing, as life went on, I started to learn all these different things as I realized these things are going to continue to happen, right? And it's so cool to think that there could be 10 people in a room, okay? And these 10 people can have the exact same things happen to them. I remember when I heard this story many years ago, right? So, let's say they all lost their job. All 10 people lost their job, right? And let's say they're all interviewed separately to, hey, how does this make you feel, right? What's your emotional reaction to this news? One person can say, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I can't move on and this is terrible, right? And then the next person goes, oh, it sucks, but I don't really like working here anyway. So, even though I'm reacting I'm upset, I'm not going to stay there for too long, right? And the other person goes, you know what? I'm an optimist. This is fantastic. I actually was hoping that this would happen. That this is good, and I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to do something awesome. This is kind of like that, in life, sometimes those things will happen, right? You'll get this thing that at the time is a blessing in disguise. And had it not happened, you wouldn't have had the courage or the willingness or the drive to actually make that change yourself, right? And isn't that fascinating? So I give you a scenario. I use 10, but I gave examples of 3. So 3 different people, same scenario, react completely different. And I remember when I heard that many years ago, I was like, wow, right? How cool is that? It just goes to show, we're in control of how we react to different situations, right? And I remember when I learned that, because so much of my life, if something were to happen, or it didn't work out the way I wanted, or something unexpected happened, or, someone was sick, or some disappointment or whatever, like, I would be like, oh man, like that sucks. And I would just spend like all day in that headspace, or all day in that, state of mind, all week, all month, all year, like just let it overrun my life. Like, what good does that serve? And I remember when I started to practice this whole like, hey, shrink the gap of how, like, it's okay to feel these emotions. So I'm not saying it's certainly unhealthy, okay? Don't get me confused here. It's certainly unhealthy to put up a wall, bury emotions. I'm not saying none of that, okay? You want to be talking about your emotions, being very open, all that kind of stuff, right? It's very important. I'm not encouraging, the other end of the spectrum. But what I am saying is that we're all going to experience emotions because we're human beings and we're wired a certain way. We're like the only species that can actually like feel emotion, so they say, right? So the difference is, though, you, me, and you included, are in 100% full control of how long you stay there. So this is like the best example I can give you is something happens, it can ruin your year, it can ruin your month, it can ruin your day, or you just spend 10 minutes there and then you figure out a solution and then okay, here we go. So once again, for me, this was never easy. This is like foreign language to me. When I was in my teenage years and early 20s, this wouldn't have even made sense. And then as time went on, I started researching, I started practicing, and I'm like, oh my God, like, wow. I can't control like the situation that happened, but I 100% can control how I react to it, right? Write that down. I cannot control the situation that happened, but I can control how I react to it. So when I found that out, mind blown, game changer. What's next, right? So yeah, I'm here today to share with you my top 5 ways on how you can control your emotions. Okay, so the first thing is to recognize that it is only a reaction. Okay, so that emotional thing is formed from our beliefs and thoughts and fears and previous experiences in life, that have formed those reactions, right? So if you, got made fun of by Susie in high school, or by Barry in elementary school, and somebody puts you down as an adult, maybe you're not going to cry and go to your mom or whatever, but I mean, part of you is going to have a reaction, right? It's going to have emotional, it's going to bring up those feelings. So it's important to recognize. And for me now, if I have any feeling to that extent, I automatically like have a physical reaction to that emotion. So I feel it. But the difference is I don't stay there. So I recognize, hey, this is an emotion, this is a reaction, and I figure out solutions so that I can limit my time there and then move forward. Because once again, I can't control that, Susie doesn't like me, or that Barry made fun of me, or that whatever the case may be in society and life, people are not going to like you sometimes, right? Or whatever that fear may be, it's going to happen, and you're going to get an emotional thing that happens. But I can control how long I'm there, right? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is to expect the unexpected. All right, so this for me, with running a successful bakery business, 3 store locations, almost 20 staff, I am dealing with unexpected situations on the daily. Okay, so and I share this with friends, many people that I talk to, that like that is the coolest thing about being a business owner that I've enjoyed throughout the last almost 10 years that we've been doing this. And it's the fact of like, I'm like a Olympic gold medal winning athlete when it comes to like dealing with unexpected challenges, right? So these things will come, like, you know what I mean? I'll have multiple people, let's say, calling sick, and I got no options. What are we gonna do, right? Or I have, one time one of our drivers got in an accident with the vehicle, or with the like our cakes in the car, and we had to scramble that day. We made 8 cakes in the span. I put everybody on board. We made 8 cakes. We scrambled. We remade the cakes. We delivered them. And the customers had no clue, and they're all happy. But we had to that was like all hands on deck. And I thought I was leaving early that day, right? So, I never expect things to flow good for an extended period of time. If they are, that's great. A lot of that thing you can, create systems and, there's certainly different proactive ways that you can set that up for success. But, I'm like a gold medal athlete at this. Like, I get a phone call, what's going on? Hey, bring it, solutions. I'm not emotional. What do we got to do? Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to meditate. Okay. When you say, well, Chad, what does meditating have to do with controlling your emotions? A lot, actually, because remember I was saying earlier, the physical reaction of an emotion that you get initially when you get bad news or unexpected news or something happens that you don't like, you get a physical reaction first, then it shoots it to your brain, right? So when that happens and I'm meditating, so I spend time every morning, I meditate for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. I do it within 5 minutes of waking up. They say that, the cortisol levels are really high as soon as you wake up, which sounds strange. You'd think you'd be, comfortable when you wake up, but they're really high. So I actually meditate within 5 minutes of waking up, right? And I do that for about 10 to 20 minutes. It calms my mind, calms my emotions, my mood. I'm even keel. I'm ready to take on my day, right? So meditating, now when something unexpected happens, I'll still get the physical reaction, but it's not working me up, right? So it comes, the meditation calms my mind. I'm doing training to be proactive instead of reactive. And I can then deal with those emotions in a calmer way, as opposed to if I'm not meditating and training my mind to be able to deal with that stuff. So meditation is number 3. Let's move on to number 4. Okay, number 4, create a solution mindset. All right, so this is an absolute game changer. All right, so if I think about a solution mindset, it's, when I get that unexpected news, like I gave you with the accident, and the cakes were messed up and we had to remake them, or, staff calling sick, or, some issue where we're missing an order, or whatever the case may be, or in your life, you didn't expect it. You could, oh man, this sucks. Oh, I'm just going to take a seat and just dwell on how much it sucks. What's that going to do? That is you not being in control of your emotions. Being in control of your emotions, for me today, once again, it was never this easy. This is many years of training, right? Today, when something unexpected happens, I immediately go, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? I could say, if only that didn't happen. Why did this happen? How could this happen? You could get caught up in that rabbit hole that serves no purpose to the solution. So instead, what I do, I go, what do we got to do? It's automatic solution. Emotion, I'm in control. I'm in control of my emotions, so I am in control of my life, okay? What do we have to do? Solution. You'll have time to figure out why and how and when and what went wrong later. Right now, we need a solution. So we figure out a solution and we make it happen, and that muscle is just built over and over again, and that's why I'm really good at it. So that's number 4. Okay, so number 5 is ask yourself, is this within my control? Okay, because there's things that are not within your control that are going to happen, right? People are going to get sick, people are going to die, people are going to quit. If you're a business owner, friends and family may not like you. Life's gonna happen. Your sister's gonna not approve of whatever you're doing, right? Your grandma's not gonna, whatever the case may be. Okay, that's not in your control, right? You can't control that, but you can control your reaction. Okay, you can limit the time and shrink the gap between how far, or how long I should say, that you spend in that. Okay, so you're in full control, right? Like the serenity prayer, God grant me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to know the difference. Know the difference. I don't know if I said that right, but I think it's partially right. But know the difference, okay? Is this in my control? Is it not? And if it isn't, what is not and what is? The emotions are. You think about people in life that go their entire life from childhood to elderly in a retirement. They do not control their emotions. And they live a very miserable life because this happened ever since so-and-so made fun of me in high school, that's why I had a miserable life. Or my husband or wife left me when I was 25 and now I'm 65 and I'm still unhappy. Is that your choice? Absolutely. It's your choice to choose how you're going to react to that. And once again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. These things suck. I feel the things that suck too, but I don't stay there for an extended period of time. Okay. So let's recap. So we got number 1, recognize it is only a reaction, a response. Okay. Number 2, expect the unexpected. Things are going to happen. It's going to suck. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Number 3, meditate. That's how you can actually be proactive in advance to train your mind for when the emotional stuff will happen, and it will actually put you in the right state to be able to respond accordingly, okay? Number 4, create a solution mindset. Emotion, issue, problem, solution. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Just keep saying that. What are we gonna do? Okay? And then number 5 is to ask if this is within your control or not. That will help you to dissect the problem properly. All right, hope you enjoyed everything. Thank you.